Now, like I said yesterday, what happened? Okay, so like I said yesterday, we should now make this dialog. We should now make this dialog box, right? So how do we do that? So this is our app. So now when we tap on it, nothing happens. So this is a tab method. So we'll have to show a dialog box. Should let's name it. Yeah. So first let's check out how do we make. Let's check out how do we make a dialog box. So Flutter, make a dialog form, and now here how to create forms in pop-up. So something like this. So over here, I look over here. So this is what we should use. Wait a second. So here we go. Show dialog takes a widget builder as a parameter, so that so we need this is what we have to use. We have to use show dialog. So show dialog will be having a context and a builder, and this builder will build the dialog box, which is an alert dialog. So let's just copy this. Let's just blindly copy this and see what happens. Okay, so I guess over here, and let's paste it. Okay, so we're having some errors. That's because we haven't defined context. So we'll have to pass in. Okay, not this one. Yeah, this one. So we'll have to pass in the context. We'll have to pass this context as a function to this custom fab. So let's first in the function, let's define a parameter named context, and let's just pass in the context. Just like I said before, context is nothing but just like a tag to the build function, a tag to this build function. Nothing much. Okay, so now it's showing an error for form key. So we'd also have to add a global key. So key is nothing but something like context. It's like a name given to a widget. So this widget is having a name, a unique, something like user ID in a email, something like an email ID, a unique name. So this is the form. So we'll have to first define a form key over here. So there we go. So we have no errors now. So let's just press Shift Alt F. Right. Yeah. So Shift Alt F, and let's just run this. So what we did now is we just copied and pasted a sample show dialog widget. So on tapping this, it should show the dialog box, a simple dialog box. So let's try it out now. So when we save it, wait a minute, it's not loaded yet. Let's just restart. Okay, there's some error. Let's just remove this. Okay, so now that error is gone, we can easily run the app. Okay, it's run. So now, wait a minute. You guys can see this, right? Okay. So now when we press on this, we get a small dialog box. It also has a cute. This also has a cute little X, like exit symbol too, but we don't need that actually. So now let's edit this. Let's edit this symbol dialog box and convert this to this. It's not going to be too hard. It's going to be simple. So now, so actually, I think it will be better if we work on a different widget. So let's go to our Explorer, and inside components, let's make a new component or a new dot file named new dialog box, new to do dialog box, new to do dialog dot. Over here, first let's import the material dot, as it's going to show a lot of errors. And now let's make a, what should we make? Should we make a stateless or stateful widget? So actually, when you're doing a form, we should like when we never fill a field, it should show an error, right? It should show an error, immediate error, right? So if you want to show immediate UI changes, you should use a stateful widget. So over here, stateful widget name is new to do dialog, and over here we'll just paste the show dialog. We'll just paste the widget inside home. Yes. So we just need to copy this. See this alert dialog box. So let's copy the alert dialog box. Cut the alert dialog box just right over here. This is where the alert dialog ends. Wait a minute. So this is where the alert dialog ends. So till there we cut and we add in the new to do dialog function, semicolon, because it's a statement, return statement, and we'll go to this over here and we'll paste it. And okay, again there's a form key error, so we don't need a form key over here, right? So let's cut this and let's just paste it over here. Paste it over here, and that's it. So now let's refresh the app so that all the files get saved. And yes, so now when you tap on this, it shows the same dialog box, which means that there is no error between this process. So we don't need this. This is the red X icon, so we don't need that. So let's just delete that. And now we just have a form. The form is like, a form. So it will be having text fields as part of it. So we'll now have to edit the text fields. So over here, here's some, I don't know, we don't need that actually. And we need it to validate. Only if it validates, it should, create a new entry. As of now, let's just print new entry created. We need to work on the back end too.
Then.
Give
time for copy paste.
Yeah, okay. Did you do that? Finished? Okay, it's just a second result over here. Not to make a dialog form. So are you done? Can I proceed? I'll just finish this. New entry created. And over here. Jomi, can I proceed?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So let's just analyze this form over here. So it is having a column and a column with a padding, a text form field, which is this thing over here. 1 minute. Okay, so it has a text form field, and it has another text form field, and it has a button, a raise button, which shows some few things. So let's just make that to 3. Okay, let's look at the UI. Something like this. So it should have a create button. We just need a create button. We don't need a cancel button. Okay, create. So when you save it, it's going to show create. So now let's just change the color of this. Color equals blue. Okay, we didn't import it, so let's import. So now the package, the theme.dart package has been imported, and now let's save it again, and it's going to show a blue color. And let's just change this text style. Guess you know this, right? I don't need to explain it much. We have been doing this like 10 times. So color is white, and that's it. And we are done with the button. Let's just make sure that over here, and let's enclose this in a let's give it a bit. Let's enclose this in a container. Okay, let's make this a container. And container already has a parameter named padding, so it doesn't show any error. Why we made it a container is main thing is to give it make the button a bit more bigger. It's pretty small now. Okay, even smaller, and that's it. And we can also change. I don't think we need a stack. We can delete that. The stack was for the X button, but as you don't have that, let's delete that too. So we just have a form inside alert dialog box, inside the parameter content. So delete that and delete the rest of the brackets. And yeah, the error is gone. Okay, so we have this thing over here created. Now let's give some properties to the text form field. So over here we can give it a decoration. Thus we can give a decoration to the text form field. So decoration, the parameter is input border. Input border, I guess. No, input decoration. Input decoration. So there are a lot of parameters over here. So we just need some parameters. One is label text, and the label text for the first one will be title. Title, because this form field will accept the title. And now when you save it, okay, let's put some training. Okay, it's the second one, right? So let's make this description. Save it, and it shows description. Now when we click on this, it shows some cool animation. Yay! So Flutter does all that for us. Now we just need to type in. Okay, I can't. You just need to type in, and that's it. So over here, let's also make a sized box because there's kind of some tension over here. So let's increase the height to like 10. Okay, yeah, 10 for and that's it. Nothing much. So now we'll have to give, just copy paste this thing at the top. Nothing much. Copy paste this over here, but make sure you give it this is 2 commas over here, so let's delete one, and make sure you keep this as title. Okay, not make sure, make that as title and save, and we have 2 texts with description and title. Okay, so and let's to indicate that this is for making a new form. Let's make this 16. Okay, to indicate that this is a dialog box for the new form, let's just display new form at the top, just like this. Let's display this new to do over here. And for that, we just give a text over here. We just give a text, and the text Okay, let's put a comma over here, and the text is new to do, and that's it. Let's just give it a style. Let me do this fast because I don't think so it's much necessary. Color is blue. Font. Okay. Font weight is font weight dot bold. Okay. Font weight dot bold. Give it a size of 20, and let's save and check what happens. Yeah, that's cool. So now you might notice the dialog box is a bit thin. So for making it a bit thick, let's just wrap this in a container and give it a width of 300. And yeah, now it looks more beautiful. So yeah, that's it. Now let's just put a small size box over here. The next main thing is like I want as of now I just need to print whatever I write over here. So how do we retrieve stuff which is written over here? Like we need to, if we write over here hello and over here world, how do we retrieve the text which is written over here? So we are going to do that. So for that we use text controllers. So text editing controller. So for this there will be one text controller, and for this there will be another text controller. So let's name this title text controller and equal to something like this is something like Java. Okay, new text editing controller. Let me expand this. New text editing controller, and nothing much, but yeah. And next is text editing. Okay, let's just copy paste, and description. Description text controller. So where do we add this controller? So in every text form field over here, every text form field, there is a parameter for adding a controller. So over here, as this is the text form field for title. Wait a minute. As this is for the title, we'll give in title text controller, and over here under the text form field of description, we'll give a controller of description text controller. So as we are given the controller, at the end we can now retrieve the text in there by just let's make a string. Okay, string text, string title equals. Now we can retrieve. Okay, let me just make the string description equals. So to retrieve the text in the text box, we first type in the controller name, which is title text controller dot text. That's it. So what it does, the current string the user is editing. So it takes in the text which is there in the text box, and over here description text controller dot text. That's it. And we can add in title desk, and now when we press on this button, we can see the print command is just to display it in this console area, debug the console. So when we press this, when we press this, it should show over here, right? So let me first save it. Let me minimize this. Okay, better. Okay, no. So now I add a new to-do list, title named hello only, hello, and description named world. And when I press create, here new entry created, hello world. Yeah, I didn't put any space or stuff. Okay, this is just to test things up. So now our the new to do dialog is working. Yay. So now next what we have to do is we have to make the backend, right? So has anyone completed till now? Anybody is lagging because the next section is the database. It's gonna there's some kind of theory. Okay. So everybody completed till now? Just say yes or no in the chat. Say something. Have you completed like making this? Yeah, okay, good. So now let's move on to the database. Now creating a database. So let's just minimize it. So for the database, 1 minute. And fi lagging. Okay. Oh, 1 minute. I didn't export that, so I let open this. Okay, it's going to take a moment. And there we go, Flutter session PPT. Just wait a moment. Okay, so this. Okay, so setting up the local database. So first, to set up the local database, there are 3 steps. First is making a class, a model class for the data to be stored and retrieved. Here we are going to store the to-do list, the to-do entries, right? So we are going to make a class named to-do entries, and we'll be using, so that's it. And second one is coding the backend services. So we'll have to code the inserting, deleting. We'll be using SQLite, okay? So to use SQLite, we'll have to go to pubs. 1 minute. Yeah. So SQLite Flutter. To install that, we'll have to import the SQFlite package. This is a custom SQLite plugin made by Flutter to give the use SQLite. So under dependencies in our PubSpec YAML, we'll have to copy paste this. So copy, go to PubSpec YAML again, this thing, and make sure it's under dependencies. Enter a tab, press a tab, make sure it's 2 spaces, tab, just above Flutter, paste this, and let's save it. So now we'll have SQLite installed in our Flutter app. Okay, so now that's done. I hope you have done this. Just simple copy pasting. And by the way, there is this. I guess someone had told about this. There's this site called pub.dev where we can search for every Flutter and Dart packages. So I guess there's like a package for almost everything. So keep in mind that. And okay, let's just reload this. Okay, now let's move on to that presentation. And first we make a class for our data. to be shared, stored, retrieved. And next we'll be coding the backend services. So like inserting command, a function for inserting, for deleting in the local database, for updating the to-do list in a local database and stuff. And then we'll be integrating that with the front end, integrating the backend functions with the front end. So actually, I didn't make this. I forgot making this. So just think this is the local okay, 1 minute. So think this is the local database. So local SQLite database. So this SQLite database will be storing stuff in tables, right? This is similar to MySQL, except it's like less features. I don't know. So this is similar to SQL. I guess you're seeing the screen, right? Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So SQLite will store stuff in tables, right? In columns and rows. And when you're using this SQL Flite package, we'll be using some functions of it. So when we use the functions of it, the data we get from it, is JSON data. So like this is kind of the data we're getting. Let's put some. This kind of the data we're getting. We are retrieving from the. Oh my god. So that. Okay, this is kind of the data we're getting from the local database. So the local database will give JSON. Will only give us JSON. So now we'll use this. We'll have to use this JSON. We'll have to convert this JSON into class objects. We'll be making a model class, right? So we'll have to make it into class objects before previewing it in the UI. So before previewing this at the UI, before previewing the UI, we'll have to, we'll also have to first convert this. We'll have to convert JSON to class objects. And the class objects will be displayed over here. So I guess you might have paid attention at Sirkumar Sir's class. So you know what class and class objects are, right? So that's what you're going to do. First we'll have to create functions. And first we'll have to create the backend functions, and then we'll have to do the JSON. We'll have to do the JSON to class and JSON to class objects and class objects to JSON conversions also. And then we'll have to preview this over to the UI. That's our main thing. That's our what we have to do now. Okay, so that's what you have to do. So now first let's make the model. Let's make the model class. So to make the model class, let's make a folder named data. Here there will be a model class. So to do list to-do list class dot. So let's make a class named to-do list entry. By the way, I guess you understood whatever I said till now, right? So first we'll be converting the tables to JSON and JSON to class objects, and from the class objects we'll be displaying in the UI. And if you want to add a new thing, add a new object, add a new stuff to the database, first we'll have to convert the class object to JSON, and from JSON we'll put it in the tables in the SQLite database, and that's it. Okay, I'm not overcomplicating stuff. Okay, over here to-do list entry. So this is the class which will define the to-do list, and this is a class for the to-do list entry. So our to-do list entry will be containing a string for title. Title. It will be containing a string for a title, a string for description, right? And then a bool for storing true or false. So a string for title, a string for description, and a bool. But there is a problem of a bool to show whether it's done or not. If done is equal to true, it will go to the I guess you know. So there's a problem with SQLite, that is, the problem is like when I search, you can't store bool values in the tables. You can only store so what we'll do is to store if it is done or not. For true we'll store 1, and for false we'll store 0. So for that we'll have to convert this to int over here to store 1 or 0. Okay, so that's that. And now let's define a constructor for this to-do list entry, and this dot. Okay, so this constructor will be used afterwards. So this is the model class. We'll have to do some, what we call it, some steps. Nothing much. So this should be a named parameter, right, for future users. So let's put this curly brackets, and let's add in, let's make the constructor. So this dot title, that's one field, this dot description, and this dot done. So why we do this is, if you want to make an object, with the values you are passing, right? So make an object, a class object with the values you are giving. For that we are using this. So this is like a faster way to make, like Dart is making constructors a bit easier. So we just need to do this. So let's do that. And now, like I said in the presentation, we'll need a function to convert from JSON to class object, and from class object to JSON. So let's make that two functions. So the function 1 is, it will be converting the class to a map. JSON and maps are almost the same. Okay, so let's see how JSON looks like. Yeah. So this is JSON. Let me show you. Yeah, this is how JSON looks like. So JSON data. So it will be there will be like a field, and a field. There will be value corresponding to the field. So we'll have to make something in this structure. And for luckily, Dart is having something called maps. Okay, so map is having something similar to this. So it is something like an array, but instead of storing like an array, it will store like this. We can give it a field name, and we can give a value to the field. So we'll have to make it JSON. So how do we do that? Let's Google. Okay, now let's Google for Flutter SQLite CRUD operations. Yeah, this is enough. So yeah, there is this Medium article, which I used. So yeah, first thing, we use SQLite for persistent data storage. That means like even if you close the app, the data will not get erased. So for that we use SQLite. And over here, add first thing is adding dependencies. So first adding the SQLite package, and then we'll have to add package provider too, right? That's for something else. I'll tell that later. So we'll have to add this also to the dependencies. So copy this. Just need to copy this much. That will do the rest of the work. So yeah, under SQLite, enter and paste. So we have path provider also installed. By the way, let me look if you guys have any doubt. Okay, so that's path provider. Yeah, that we have installed path provider. So leaving this blank means the Flutter, the pubspec.yaml Flutter will check for the latest version and use that. That's it. That's why we left it blank. If you left it blank over here, also no problem. Flutter will search for the latest version of the package and then use it. It's going to be same. So now let's go to this Medium article, and I'll put the article link over here in the chat. So click that, and now let's go step by step. So let's create okay, so before creating DB client, yeah, we'll have to create model class. So first we made, yeah, so first we have made the this thing, we have made the constructor. So now we'll have to make a function named toMap and a function named fromMap. Okay, so we'll have to make this function toMap. So yeah, let's make it. So to-do list class toMap. What this function does is it will convert the class object to a map. So yeah, it is of the return type will be map string dynamic. Okay, I'll explain that. So a map is, I showed you, right? Okay, it's lost. So map. Okay, I'll just show dot map. Let me just. Okay, not this one. Damn it. So yeah, just like the JSON, it stores as like there will be a field name and a value for the field, and comma. It will be stored like this. So we have to make it a map, and to access the elements of the map, you'll have to, I mean, if you just check out this, just check out maps in dot maps. So to access the element of the map or to create new elements, we'll have to do details username, which is the field name, details square bracket the field name, and it will give, and yeah, it will give this output. Yeah, we can define it like that, or we can also, if you print this, like I'll show you. I'll show you. Right. Let's make a new file, a dot file. So a new dot file. So main. Let's make a main. Void. What's it? Main. Okay. So this is a main function. So here that we defined a map named this. Okay. I'll put a comma here. Okay. So this is the map we defined. So now when we print details. Okay, I put a small mistake. Details dot not dot square bracket username. By the way, we should not miss a single letter over here. It should be correct. And when we run this, let's just run this. Okay, where is the, okay, no mind. So copy relative path, go to terminal, dot. Okay, dot s dot, and yeah, so it output a tom. So when we so to output this, so when we use details and field name, it will output the value. So this is maps. This is a map. So if you, this is a map of the type string, which I'll show you. Map of the type string. This thing is used to define the type. So in this map, both sides are string, but for some reason, if we use this a number, make this a number, let's cut this and paste it over here. Now it will be showing an error because this side, this is not a string. It is a integer. So there is an integer value and there is also a string value. So what do we do with this? So we can use dynamic. Dynamic means any data type. It can be string, it can be number, it can be, for example, done equals true. It can be, it can be bool. So map will, so this is map, okay? So map and JSON are kind of the same. JSON is like an array of maps. So this is just one element, one map, right? So an array of maps will be JSON. So it will be like enclosed in another, this kind of thing. And we'll have to make it an array. Yo, what happened? We have to make this. We have to make it a list of maps. So a list of map of the type string dynamic. So this is the first element of it. So we'll have to do details 0 because it's the 0th element, first element. And when we run this, okay, 1 minute. There's some error. I don't know why. Okay, there. Never mind. Okay, so something. This is how JSON looks like. It will be an array of. I guess we have to make this or something. Yeah, now the error is gone. But for JSON, it is the curly bracket over here. I guess I forgot. So this is how a JSON will look like. Something like if there are 4 elements in our database and the JSON will be output in something like this. So that's about JSON and map. No need to save. So yeah, so that explanation was for this. So let's delete that. We don't need that. Okay, so over here, we'll have to. Okay, so let's copy that. Yeah, so let's make a map. So the map, this is the map. So this will return a string dynamic map. So over here it will be ID. Okay, we also need an ID. Okay, to define a unique ID for each to-do list tile. So that if you want to delete a particular tile, you just need to access the ID. Or if you want to edit a particular tile, a particular list, a particular to-do list, a particular to-do entry, you just need to use the ID. So you can, something like an index. So the next one is title. And it's better to have single ones, because when you're dealing with online databases, if you use double inverted commas, it's gonna show error. So just use single inverted commas. Just know that I wasted a lot of hours one day because of this small error. So I don't want that to happen to you. So we'll use this .id the ID of this class object for that. Okay, so this dot, why don't they use this? Yeah, we don't need to use this. Well, let it stay like this. Okay, so now title, and the third one is description, and description. Okay, let's make sure no mistakes, because a mistake over here, we can't notice mistakes over here. Over here there will be, like, when we press DO, it will show done. There's productive text, but over here there's nothing like that. So make sure you're pretty careful over here. And now there's a function to this is a function to convert a class to a map. So now there is a function to a JSON entry, a JSON element. So now we'll need a function to convert a JSON map to a class. So that's why we use this, this over here, and copying pasting. So not client, our class name is to-do list entry, or let's make it to-do entry. I need to make it too big. To-do entry. So to-do entry, and map. So the input is a map of string dynamic. That's what we use over here. And okay, this is on it. Okay. Okay, so usual function, and we are going to return. We're going to return function, right? So we'll have to return something. So we'll return a to-do entry, and the to-do entry will be. So now we'll have to retrieve the value, just like I showed before. So when we give the field name over here, we'll get the value of the ID. So I guess you remember that. I'm not going to explain that again. So this dot ID dot ID. Okay, there's some kind of error. I don't know why. Oh yeah, I didn't add ID over here. So this is where we are using constructors. Wonder why I didn't show error over here. So this is a construct. We are using the constructor, right? So we haven't defined this dot ID over here. So this dot ID, and that's why it showed an error over there. I guess you're understanding this. And I guess we'll have to use this dot ID over here, because we need to get the ID of the current object. Let's make this. Oh, sorry. Okay, what's happening over here? Why is it like this? Yeah, it should be like this. Okay. Nothing else, right? There is some stuff over here. I don't think so. We need that. We'll need this for online database, I guess. But for now, it's okay without that. Okay. So yeah. Okay. We are not doing this. We are not using the constructor over here. We're just gonna make we are gonna just use 4 statements. So okay, done something stupid. So we are gonna do this dot ID, which means the ID of the current class. This current class will be equal to JSON. And it's showing error over here. I don't know why. Okay, it's showing real errors. Okay, we don't need factory over here. Okay, this is what you need. Just do this. Okay, so this dot, they're using some extra functions over there. We can do it straightforward way. We don't need. And what's that? Okay, so now we need Yeah, so make sure it's the same thing over here. Don't make any mistakes. A single letter will give you nothing. If you change a single letter, you will get nothing. Should be pretty careful over here. And now let's just make this finish this up. The first step is going to finish right now. So JSON of okay, sorry, first let's like this. And yeah, this dot done equals JSON done. That's it. Hooray. So now we have finished our model class. Yeah, it was a bit of a task. Okay, now let's look at it, finish it. Just a moment, I'll come right now. Okay, I guess you have finished typing all this. So just like I said, we'll make a this. So in short, this is a class, and the class has for this thing. Yeah, for element. I forgot those names. Okay, then it has 3 functions. One function is the constructor. One function is the it's a function to convert to a map. And the other function is to convert from a map to a class object, retrieving. Yeah. So we have finished that part. Now we have to make the actual backend. Okay. I guess you guys are excited. So services. We're going to code the backend services. So over here, local database dot and we're going to code in the services. I guess everything is clear up till now, right? Just say yes or no. Everything is clear until now, right? Is everything clear? Okay, cool. We learned a new data type. Yay, map. Map is pretty useful, but I never use it that much. Okay, now next one is we are doing the database. So okay, so first thing is let's just follow step by step over here. So now in your project, create a new file this and create a private constructor that can be used inside the class. So let's just copy this. So this is the DB provider, database provider. Let's copy this and paste over here. So what this does is nothing much, just DB equals DB provider, static DB provider. Okay. So yeah, this is just a constructor, just assigning a constructor to DB. So now we'll be using DB everywhere for using the services. Okay, so it's the class of DB provider. This is a object-oriented programming, so everything should be inside classes. So that's it. So that's what I just told now. Okay, now set up the database. So now we'll create a database object and provide a getter where we'll instantiate the database. So now we are going to make the database. So over here, okay, yeah, we're going to copy this. And yeah, the second thing, and paste it inside the DB provider. And now we're going to see some errors. Why? Because we haven't imported SQLF-Lite.dart. So let's import it. And showing more errors. I don't know why. Okay, that's just. And this code, in short, is like to get a database. So if database is not null, which means if the table is not created, like if there is no database, there is no MySQL table in your mobile phone, like if the storage is not created, then okay, no that if it is not created, we'll have to initialize a new table. If there is no table, initialize a new table for our data. But if there is a table, if it is not null means if there exists a file for which has our data, we'll have to return that file. Okay, so to make this a bit, let me tell it again. So if there is a table, there is a file which contains our data, return that file. If there is no file with our data, make a new one. So now there's a function. We have to make a function for making a new database. So that's over here. So that's what I said. If there is no object assigned to data, we'll use init function to create the database. In this function, we'll get the path for storing the database and create the desired tables. So now we'll have to get the path. Like we'll have to store this database somewhere, right? So in Android, usually, if you know a bit, if you have explored a bit of Android, it's usually like inside our storage, inside Android, inside data, and here is where every the data of every app is being stored, right? So yeah. So we'll have to navigate to that path, but we don't need to do that manually because that's why we have used this package. This package will automatically give the path to where we have to store the database. So that's it. So now let's initialize the database. Copy, paste. So a lot of stuff are happening over here. First, we'll have to import the provider package. So this is okay. So import dart.io2. So import all the stuff you need. Over here there's join. So let's import. Okay, parts join. It's showing error. I guess, let me see. Okay, I guess there's an update to the provider package. So let's just look at that. I guess I found. So path provider package and path provider package. And here there will be details on how to use the path provider package. And over here, okay, I can't get anything. Okay, this is so confusing. I don't. It's a mistake. Okay, I don't understand anything. I don't know. There's some error over here. Let me check in Google. Or is that guy defining that somewhere else? I don't know. Okay, it's not defining it anywhere else. No, okay, so now we have an error which this guy doesn't have, which is not good. So let's just I guess this is a part of dart.io. Okay, now let's just search in the internet. Flutter join function path error. Path error. Method join isn't defined in Flutter SQL. Okay, that's what we need. So what should we do? We have to import this package. The second is similar. Add this. Okay, we'll have to import another package too. I don't know. Let me see. Okay, so this works for that guy. So let's just try importing this. Copy this. Go to the top. Paste it over here. And it goes. Yes, it works. Good job. I don't know. It's upvote something. Okay. Okay. So that solved the problem, luckily. So now let's go back to the initializing the database function. So over here, this first statement will get the path to where we'll have to store our file, and then the second one we are making the file. So text test db. Okay, let's make it. Yeah, let's just leave it like that. So this is the file into which we'll be storing our MySQL database. So we have created the file. So next, we are opening the database. So for that, we'll use this function. This is so confusing. Let's put trailing commas and try it out. Okay. So opening the database. So open database is a function from sqlf-lite.dart. That package over here. This package. Hello. So this package. So yeah. So it has some parameters. So first parameter is path. The path is we have got the path over here. The version, no need to touch that. Open database on open. So this is the database you're opening. We have defined this over here, right? The DB provider. So database DB. Yeah, database DB. Yeah, this is get database. I guess this is used to get a database. I don't know. So yeah, on create db.execute create table. So I guess you know MySQL, right? So this is the function for creating a new table. So our table name shouldn't be tile client. It should be to-do entries. To-do. Let's make it to-do. And our first column is ID integer primary key. That's right. But the second column is not first name. It is title. And the third column is not last name. It is description. And the fourth column is done, which is an int, not a bit. So we have created the table successfully now. So yeah, so what happens is when we call this DB provider from anywhere, like from over here, let's just call it. Let's say DB provider. And when we call this, okay, it's going to show an error because but just for example, when we call the DB provider function, which means we are calling the constructor of DB provider, what it does is it invokes this function, and DB will be equal to a database, which is the database is which we have initialized. Okay, I did once more. So when we call that function or the constructor, this gets evoked, this function gets evoked, and in this function it will return a database if there is a database, but if there is no database, it will initialize the database using this function, and that's it. So initializing is this thing. Now we have initialized the database. Now we have to do the four functions of a database, that is adding a new data. Adding a new data, showing the data, which is reading, adding, reading, deleting, and updating. So these are the stuff we have to do now. For short, we call it CRUD. So this is for C for create, R for read, U for update, and D for delete. So CRUD, we call it CRUD operations. If you have any doubt, just go into Google and search for CRUD. So like if you're having any errors, search for CRUD something, so we'll get the answers for the CRUD operations. So create. So how do we create? So this function is used for creating. 515. So this is used for creating. So when we are creating a new function, creating a new table, creating a new row for the table. So we'll first take in the class which we had to do entry. entry and db equal to await database. Okay, so here we are using asynchronous programming. Okay, should I teach you that also? So asynchronous programming, okay, sorry, means like, so I'll show you with this over here. Give me one on. Okay. So delete that, and usually when you're for usual programming, what happens is, first there'll be one task, and if this task finish, only if this task finish, we'll jump to the next task. Sorry, my bad pen tool skills. Okay, we'll jump to the next task, and only if this task finish, we'll move to the next task. That is synchronous programming. Okay, so task 1, after task 1 we do task 2, and after task 2 we do task 3. But for asynchronous programming, this is very good, pretty good for stuff like loading and loading screens and stuff, for loading data and stuff. So asynchronous programming is, everything has like this, everything will start at the same time, like there is no waiting. So this two can run parallelly. So this is taking this much time. Okay, just think that this is taking this much time, and this is taking this much time only. So this two can start together. It can run parallelly. Okay, but here it is running series. I said series, you can say, like after this this will run. Okay, so like the difference is, this is asynchronous programming, right? So the maximum time would be this much. This is the maximum time it takes for running these two codes. But if it is a synchronous programming, that means a usual programming, first this will run and then this will run, right? So it's going to take more time, right? See, more time. So if you are loading and unloading data, it would be better if you use asynchronous programming, so that it takes less time. This can be a bit confusing also, asynchronous programming, but you'll get used to it, don't worry. As of now, we just need some more stuff. Okay, so yeah, asynchronous programming and synchronous programming. In one, the task will be completed. After this task completes, this will complete. But over here, both can work together. Okay, I guess you got an idea of asynchronous programming. So that's what over here is happening over here. So over here, if we don't use await, what happens is the next statement also starts running. But we need to get the database, else it's going to show error over here, somewhere over here. So first we'll use await. So await means it will stop till this process finishes. It will wait for this process to finish, and only then it jumps to the next one. But if you're not using await, it will just start jumping to the next one. So also, if you don't use await, it's going to show an error, because it should show an error. Okay, yeah, it shows an error over here because it is of the type future. So future is a part of asynchronous programming. So future is, it's used to the potential value. To show that it finishes in future, something like that. I don't know why they give it that name. So yeah, I don't have much idea about this. Anyway, let's move on. So over here we have the table inserting function. So they're using row insert. Okay, we don't need to use this one. There is another one, another easy way to. This is using row insert, which is similar to our usual MySQL type writing, or there is this thing using insert. So let's just use this. It's much more smart. Okay. So we learned asynchronous programming too, and to to do entry, and first we have to, just like I said before, before inserting into the database, we'll have to first convert the class to a JSON, and only then we can insert into the database. Okay, that's what's happening here. So db dot insert. So insert, not client. This is a table. So insert first, it's a table name, but the table name over here is to do, right? So let's paste this over here. So insert into the to do table this JSON, this map. I guess you understood. So now let's move on to the next one. The next ones are pretty simple. So pretty simple ones. Now reading. So read by ID or read get all clients. So there is reading is of two types. Like we can read one item according to the ID we get, or we can read the whole list. So what we need over, okay, sorry. So what we need over here is we need to get all the tiles, right? So all the entries, right? So this we'll be using this to get all the entries. So yeah, so now let's get all entries to our client. So let's copy that, and don't forget inside DB provider, inside DB provider, we are gonna paste this get all clients. So not get on clients, get all to do entries, because we made this, not then. So db.query is for asking. Okay, I am asking something. Okay, so oh man, there's something pretty thing. What's a C? Okay, I don't know what that is. Okay, they're just making, okay, now query, they're asking for a table, right? So table name is not client, or table name is to do. Look at that. And over here, we need to give entry. Okay, sorry, to do entry, which is our class name. So here what happens is, we are doing that, this process. We are from the SQLite, we are retrieving JSON, and the JSON is made into class objects, a list of class objects. Okay, a list of class objects. I guess you got the idea. So I'm just going to delete so that it shows it. Okay, so if this is not empty, I mean if the table is not empty, it should give this, or it gives a normal nothing. Gives nothing. So if table Rus is not empty, Rus.map. So Rus is, yeah, Rus. The table we get the what can I say? Yeah, the list of maps. So the JSON file we are getting, the JSON we are getting is called Rus. So let's just name it to JSON. So JSON, if the JSON map is not empty, we extract the map. We just okay, this is getting hard. Okay, so we are gonna map function over here. We are using map function. I don't know. Okay, the map function is create a new lazy iterable with elements. It's something like a for loop, but much more, shorter. So it just, what it does is, this is one element of the JSON file. So like I said before, okay, there will be a lot of maps. So one map of the JSON file, and we are going to convert that map to a to-do entry. That's it. Just remember that. And we are going to do. There will be a lot of entries. We're going to make that to a list. To list. So I guess you understood that. This is a bit hard. Okay, please bear with me over here. It's some advanced, I guess. I don't know. So next is getting the client by ID. Okay, so this will be useful for edit function. If we have time, we'll do the edit function and delete function also. But if we don't have time, we are You can just refer this and you'll get it. Okay, some kind of homework. So to do entry dot from map rest dot first. Okay, what's happening here? Yeah. So nothing much. So it is giving a query. So first one is table, right? So it is querying. It's asking from the table to give all elements where ID is equal to the ID we are giving, the ID we are passing. So this Rus or this JSON map will return. This JSON will return a map or a JSON element which contains the other data, which contains the data associated with the ID which we have given. Okay, the ID which we provide. So the JSON will retrieve the data with respect to the ID. That's it. Okay. So next. Okay, I'm pretty vague over here. I'm pretty sorry. Just research. Okay, now let's do the update function. It's gonna be easy. Just copy and instead of client, get to do entries. You need to make sure that no one knows we have copied. Okay, completely ours. So to do entries, entry, same stuff. db.update entry.map where ID is equal to entry.id. So here we're giving the full entry, not the ID. We are giving the full class, providing the full class. Okay. So this will be like the updated class something. Okay, I will work on that later. So now update and now delete. So there is delete one client and delete all clients. Okay, delete one. Okay, we don't need delete all to-do list. So we just need delete one to-do list. Okay. So delete to-do list and yeah, just change the names. To-do entry, delete to-do entry. To-do entry. To entries. To-do entry. Okay, that's okay. And the table name is to-do. Don't forget that. Where ID equal to where args. Okay, this is something like that Java thing. Okay. Anyway, so yes, we have finished the step 2. The step 2, which was step 2, coding the backend services. Now we have finished coding the backend service. Now the next one is integrating it with the front end. Now this can be also pretty interesting, pretty tricky. So now let's refresh this, and I guess this will be a best time where I'm using a screencasting application. So it doesn't use too much RAM. If I use the emulator, it uses too much RAM. Okay. What happened? Something wrong with my Wi-Fi. Okay, 1 minute. Just a second. Oh, okay. Just a moment. Okay, yes, we have it over here. Let's minimize this till here, and there we go. Our app. So I guess it usually when after adding the database, it's better to delete this debug app, or just delete this debug app and start debugging again. There will be some issues with the table and stuff. So delete the debug app, the app we are testing on, and run it again. I had issues before, and after doing this, those issues were solved. Issue was like the DB provider couldn't find the table or something. I don't know, some issue like that. Yeah, even though there was some function like this, it had an issue. So let's just wait it to launch. And by that time, okay, yeah, guys, if you're having any doubt, you can just leave it over here. I'm making a 2 season. Okay. This will. Next time, you just need to copy paste this, right? It's simple. You just need to copy paste and change the names. It's not going to be that hard. Okay, yeah, it is hard. Not gonna lie. Even I found this pretty hard at first, but you'll get used to it. You understood, right? I mean, you got at least an idea of something. I know most of it was copy pasting and explaining, but you understood it, right? Yes or no? Okay. I mean, yeah, you can copy. You can at least type the stuff I just wrote right now. Type these. Because now integrating with the UI is also a bit hard. Because I'm going to just. I don't know if this works. If it works. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't work. It's having some. Issues. Okay, so database. Okay, at least copy paste these. Okay, no, not that. Oh, damn. Yet to do and river ID. Args ID. Yeah, okay. Okay, I put the code in the chat. So at least copy paste that and put it in that this folder, services folder, because we need to know a bit about. Okay, I guess it's installing. Yeah, only stuff like this is a bit hard. This is database stuff. Then there are online database stuff too. That is also. I'm not an expert programmer. I guess because of that, I feel it hard. Others, I guess, feel it easy. I don't know. Man, the app is not loading. Come fast. Because that's installing. Let's wait for it. It's installing the app. Yes, I deleted it. Well, at least you got the basic concept, right? How we are doing the process. At least that might be enough. Rest you can, Google search and find it out. Okay, cool. Okay, the app is still not loaded. Why is it taking so much time? It hasn't even made the app. Okay, it's taking crazy time. Come on. Okay, so let me see if we can do something else while this time. Let's close that. Come on, dude. It's taking time. Okay. Not showing my tech logo. It's taking time. Come on. Guess it will be ready in a minute or something. Denin Paul, the connection. Okay, this is taking. Okay, running Gradle task. Okay, this should take some time. Never mind. Okay, let's try. Okay, so inside. Okay, I'll wait for that to come. Oh damn! Is there any error or something in my? Come on. Okay, so inside to-do list style, which is yeah, each of these styles. So here we have hard coded the value, but actually we need to get the value from the the database, or I guess. Okay, let's yes, it's coming. Yes, at last. Okay, I'll have to. Okay, it's done. So now let's go to home. Okay, and yeah, let's scroll down the this Medium article a bit. So now this guy is going to show how to add this to the app. So first we started the apps layout. Okay, there's an apps layout over here. That's not what we need. Yeah, that is what we need. Okay, so we are going to use Future Builder. Okay, why we use Future Builder? Because it's a list, some type of Okay, let's just define. Let's ask Google what is Future Builder. Yeah, it's a widget. Okay, so we'll be retrieving a list from the database, right? We'll be constantly retrieving that. We'll be updating what's there in the database with the list, right? So yeah, the Future Builder is a widget that builds itself based on the latest snapshot of the interaction with the future. Okay, that's a bit hard definition to grasp. So snapshot is nothing but that over here it is this list. The list that's the list of class objects. That is the snapshot over here. The list of class objects which we have retrieved, which was actually a list of JSON, which was a JSON converted into a list of class objects. Okay, I guess I'm making it pretty hard right now. So let's just copy this, and this is our list. This is a list view builder. So we also have a list view builder. So we'll have to copy this and paste it before the list view builder. Oh my god. So paste it before the list view to the list styles. Okay, over here. So over here, not this. Yeah, over here. Yeah, before the list view builder. Paste it, and oh my god, it's going to show a lot of errors. Just don't mind that as of now. Return. We have to copy from here to here, and okay, not this one. Now paste it. So also we'll have to put subsequent, right? So that it's showing we need this thing. So let's make that over here. Show the auto for us. No. Do what tasks need to do. Oh my god, it's really confusing. Okay, never mind. Okay, now let's first. Okay, so future builder. We don't need that. Okay, so future builder will create a widget that builds itself based on latest snapshot of the future. So the future is this thing. Yeah, db.provider. So let's first make initialize var of db equals db provider dot db. This is going to get a bit confusing, so stay with me. So this is the db we got. So the future is, let me show the backend. Okay, services dot backend. So remember that we have a function for getting all the to-do list entries, and it was a async, right? So which means this will take some time to load. It will take some time. This thing will take some time to, get sorted. Retrieving from the database is going to take some time. I mean, just milliseconds over here, because our phones are pretty fast. So it gives an async, right? Whenever the function is an async, we can't just call. It should be this thing. It will be a future. Oh man, it will be a future list. The data type would be something like future list. Future of list of to-do entries. In that, there's also another thing. We don't need to. Even it is not necessary to put the data type over here behind the function, but usually in Java or C we'll usually put something like int or void. You use something like that, right? Let me do some auto. So over here we don't need that. Okay, I made some small mistake to do entry. So yeah, it's not showing it. So this, as it is an async, which means it is going to take some time, which means this data is going to be, this function will finish invoking in the future, not like right now. It will take some time, so it will be so the list, this returning list, this list will be returned in the future. So things like that. Okay, something like that. That's what I have thought till now. I don't know exact definition of this. Okay, so because it's going to take some time, we're going to use future, because we'll get the list in the future. We are not sure how much time it takes. Okay, so yeah, so this is a type future. So when you're trying to, so this guy also need a future list dynamic. So like I said before, dynamic means any data type. So yeah, future list dynamic. If you type in dynamic over here also, it's not going to show another, because this is a future list dynamic. So that's it. So if you're using a regular list view builder, the problem is, as that thing is dynamic, we'll have to first do something like void. Okay, it's going to be some hard method. So using a future builder is going to be easy. So future builder will help you build list of future type, of list which take some time to load and stuff. So that's, I guess you got something out of what I said. So db dot get all to-do list entries. So this is going to return a future list. So that's a future. So this is the snapshot we are talking about. Okay. So this is so now this definition will make sense. So create a widget that builds itself based on the latest snapshot. Okay. So the latest version of the get db.get all to-do entries will be displayed, not some old version. Okay, so for that, to display the latest version only, we are using this future builder. Else even though we add a new entry, it's not going to update, because it's not updated to the latest version of the database. That's it. I'm going out of words over here because this is pretty hard. Okay, so over here entry, list entry. Okay, sorry, list to do entry, not client, and it's going to show an error because over here we have some stuff to do. So this and so here, so this should be after this, right? So this is the list view builder is what being returned. So return is a statement. So after every statement we should put a semicolon, and then there is this curly bracket over here. So we're going to put that over there, and this is, and there is this bracket over here, right? So we are going to put that bracket also, and we're going to remove this. That is an unnecessary one, and it's one more. Okay, it's getting confusing again. And okay, so this is responding to this. So return padding. This one's okay. This one's lonely one. Okay, so we need one over here. Oh yeah, I guess we need to put colon or something. I'm still unable to resolve this error. So this corresponds. Oh man, this should finish over here. This is an if statement which returns the list view builder. So after the list view builder, we should put a bracket. Yes. Yes. It works. Yes. Now it works. But it's showing some error, right? Why? Cause. Let's scroll down. It is. Yeah, because doesn't end with the return statement. So the problem is, if there is an if, you should also put an else also. So else, what you're going to do is, so over here, so if the snapshot, if the latest version of this has data, okay, so first it's going to take some time to load the data, right? So when it's loading, there's not going to be any data over here, right? Because it's being loaded. So when it is loading, what we have to show? We have to show a circle. Okay, return circle progress circle. My God, let's copy this one here. Yeah, return sender. So it will show that spinning loading screen. So when it is not loaded, it will show the spinning loading screen, and when it gets loaded, it will show the data. That's it. So now we are just, so over here item count. So what should be the number of items? It should be snapshot. So we are getting, this is the snapshot. So now we are going to play with the snapshot. Okay, so now the snapshot has the data, and the snapshot has the data of list, right? This list is the snapshot, this list. So the item count will be the length of this list, how much elements this list has. That is the item count. So snapshot dot data, so the data of the snapshot dot length. So the length of the snapshot data, and the snapshot data is this list, which we retrieved from get all to do entries, which is over here. Okay, so now, okay, this is getting hard, but stay with me. So now we are just viewing a simple to-do list, right? We are not viewing the to-do list style according to the data we are getting. So for that, let's just save this, and let's just save this. So now, yeah, so now let me show you this. So now when you look at this, you find there is no to-do list style. Why? Because the item count is 0. There is nothing in the database file, right? There is no, we haven't upload, we haven't put in data into the database. So the length is 0, so it shows nothing. So now we'll have to show the data. Okay, now we'll have to enter, do the new data thing. Before that, yeah, we have to do the new to-do list. to do entry. Okay. So when this button is created and when we type in title, okay, let's type in hello world, and when we press create, it should add this to the database, right? So how do we do that? So let's create a function for that. So it's going to show validation. Okay, let's do validation later. We don't have time. So validation is like when we, what did I do? Okay, so this is empty, but still we can create. Still this create button works. Usually it will show an error, right, in a red color that you should fill this. So that is validation. You can just Google that and find it out. It's not hard, it's really easy. Now the new entry creation. Not with that. What should we name it? Okay, that's a new entry creation. Stupid names. Okay, so when we press create, the new entry creation will be invoked. New entry creation will be invoked. So what this will contain? So our end goal is we have to, okay, let's do the thing we did in the other home page, that is var db equals db provider.db. We are making an instance of that class over here. Making an instance, that means an object. This is an object. db is an object of this class. Yes, you remember that. And our end goal is db dot new client. My God, new to do entry. Okay, so now over here, new to do entry, and it should give an entry, and the entry is what should be it? It should be a to do entry. So first we'll create a to do entry with the name entry, and let's initialize it with let's give it a construct. So constructor. Here we'll be using the constructor. So before that, we can use this. We can copy this to that function. So now, oh man. Okay. So let's copy this to here, and now we have the title and the description. Okay, the title and the description is retrieved, and now we'll have to assign this title and description to the classes title and description. So title equals the title over here. I'll put new title, new description, so that you don't get confused. So new title. So title equals the new title, description equals the new description, and done equals false, because we don't want it to so done is false at first, right? Oh, sorry, we are using ones and zeros, so 0, which is false. 0 is false. And now we through this method we will put this entry into the database. That's it. So now when you press this, it will go to the new database. This entry will be going to the database. Let's reload this. Let's put some trailing commas over here. It's still nothing because we haven't entered. And now, okay, so when we do this, we press the plus button. We add in the hello world, and we press create. Nothing happens. Why? Because we haven't told this dialog box to close, right? So now we have to tell it to close. For that we use navigator, dot pop. So okay, we have to put context over here. The navigator is so actually this is how Flutter screens work. Okay, this is going pretty long. This is how the screens work. This is one screen, and to move to the another screen, this will be having a scaffold, right? So this will be overlapping the screen. So this is one screen. Okay, make this lighter. Okay, this is screen 1, screen 2, screen 3. So we moved from screen 1, we clicked a button and we moved to screen 2. So it's something going to be like this. It's going to be like this. And when we go to screen 3, it's going to be like, it's going to be above this. So there is some kind of stack. I mean, today if you notice, if we had, you know, if you had listened to Preetham's class, yeah. So this is a stack, something like a stack. So if we have to go to the previous screen, we have to remove this from the stack. So we'll be shown the previous screen. And if you want to see the first screen, we have to remove this from the stack. So it will show the screen. So for removing that, so for navigating through the screens, we use navigator. And to remove, we use pop, just like stack and queue. We pop it, navigator.pop. So get lost and get lost. So that's it. That's the concept of navigator. So navigator.pop. But when you use navigator.pop, what happens is, I'll show you. Okay, so what will happen if navigator.pop is, wow, it worked. Okay, yeah, that's because we did a reload. We restarted it. So yeah, now there is one element. And because of that, there is one element. Yeah, it is not the element we created, because in home, we have defined it to show the to-do list style, which has title as this and title as description. Now the title where we retrieved from the database, right? So now let me create one more. Let's create one more. Title, description. And when you press create, this thing closes, but we don't see nothing over here. It should be 2 elements, but it's just showing 1 element. But when we refresh this, or when we save this, we press Control save, it comes. So why that? Why is it that? Why that happens? So the problem over here is we didn't tell this stateful widget to redraw, right? We didn't tell this to redraw. Only if the future might have been updated with a later snapshot. But only if we redraw it, only then we can see it in UI. Now in the code, like when you print it over here, it will show 2 elements. But if you are, but if it has to come to UI, we have to tell the build function to run again, so that it draws again the new screen. So when it draws a new screen, it will show 2 elements. So when we did hot reload, when you do hot reload, the stateful widgets the build functions get called when you do hot reload. When you do hot reload or when you do restart, the stateful widget builder gets called. So it will redraw the screen. But when you do this over here, when you do title and description and create, you see it is not, the build function doesn't redraw, and because of that, it doesn't show the new element. So we'll have to do hot reload to show the new element. But we don't want that, right? We need to automatically show the new elements. So for that, one method is, okay, I wanted to show the actual method, but that's going to take time. So the one method is to use, instead of navigator.pop, we'll use navigator.off context. Okay, what was it? Yeah, navigator.pop push and push and pop until yeah, pop and push. There's some one thing like yeah, push and remove until, push and remove until material root. Okay, just let's just copy this material root. It needs a root over here. Okay, root is something. It's you'll have to learn about that. Like material page root. Builder is context, and say this. We return the home widget. Home. Okay, I'll break this down. I'll break this down right now. Don't worry. And okay, can I put trading commas anywhere? Okay. So what this does is, it will, this happens. It is like this, right? Okay, it's like this. So what happens is, usually navigator.pop is just removing this. But when you remove this stateful widget builder doesn't get called. So what we do is, we remove this, but we push this. So when we push it again, the build method gets called. So let me tell it again. We remove this, we pop out this, we pop this, and then we again bring in this. Remove that. Okay. So that's it. So when you again push in this, the build method gets called, and we can see the updated UI. But this is a bit messy process. Okay. But I want to show you the read method, but we had to use some extra stuff. Okay. It's going to take time. So as of now, let's do this. Let's just wind up. Yeah, so let me do it again. So this is the thing we have. Okay, now I haven't done anything else. Let's just this. So what we do over here is push and remove until needs a root. So we usually define roots in the main. There's something called root. So here roots, yeah, see roots. But we haven't done that, so we can, make something a root. Never mind. So we make it a root. Material page root builder home. Home is this thing. This is home, right? Home widget. The home page. So we just remove everything and push in home page. Okay. So now and that's it. Home page and root false. That is stayed like that. No need to do anything else. Look at it and copy. So now when you press, when you put title, okay, title 1, description 1, and create, it show, yeah, there are 4 elements now. Now we have to, instead of showing this, we have to show what we have retrieved from the database, right? So for that, what we do is, we have to go to the to-do list style, and over here, we are showing this thing, right? We don't want to show this. Yeah, we don't want to show that. We instead have to, yeah, it's going to show some errors. So now the stateful widget. So this is the function we are calling, right? So we have to make a parameter that will accept the entry, the data, a parameter that will accept the snapshot data. Okay. So for that, we are going to do a to-do entry. Entry. Yeah, and it should be final. Else it's going to show error, and it's going to show another error because we haven't put this over here. This dot entry. We haven't defined the entry in the constructor. This is a constructor, right? Constructor has the same name of the class. Roll number 1. Okay, so that's it. So now this to-do list style will accept the entry. The entry is, let's go to home. Okay, let's save this first. Save this. I know it's not going to show it over here because it's having errors. Let's go to home. It's going to show error. Yeah. So now we can add in an entry, and the entry will be snapshot.data. But snapshot.data is the whole list, right? So we need the index. This is where index. So index is like that I in a for loop. For I equal to 0, I less than n. So something like I, that is index. So yeah, so it's gonna we are gonna take that snapshot dot data index. We're gonna pass that into to the style, and over here now we have to display entry dot, entry is a to do entry, right? So entry dot title, entry dot description, we have to show that, right? So over here, it's not done, it was false. Okay, so now this will be equal to, okay, now when you're trying to add entry, it's not going to show. This is not the entry we want. So we have to first, as it is not inside this widget, but inside the inherited widget, this is inheritance, right? We are inheriting the properties of this widget into this. So while inheriting, we have to first add widget dot entry. Okay, not simple entry, widget dot entry dot done. Showing an error because we had programmed it saying it is a bool value, but it's not a bool value, it is an integer. So if it is equal to if it is equal to 0, it's showing an error. I don't know why. Should it show an error? Okay, sorry. So if it is 0, which means if done is false, we do this. So let's copy this and let's paste it over here. Let's paste it wherever there is done. Widget.entry is false. Okay, if it is true over here, if it is true, which is 1 is true, it will do the line through, it will cut the text. But if it is false, it won't cut the text. And over here, if it is same thing, 1. But over here, if it is 0, it will show the full opacity, it will show the full thing, otherwise it will show the faded one. Or let's just program it according to that. If it is equal to 1, it will show 0.4, it will show 1. Opacity, right? Opacity is the transparency. So if it is true, if it is done, it will reduce the transparency, else it will be showing the full transparency. And now over here, we have to do widget.entry.title and widget.entry.description. And over here we have to use the update function, right? Because we are changing the done's value, so we have to use the update function. Oh my god. Okay, so first let's make widget.entry.done. Okay, we have to do a different thing. So widget.entry.done. If it is equal to 1, if it is 1, we have to make it 0. If widget.entry.done, if it is 1, we have to make it 0, else we have to make it, if it is 0, we have to make it 1, just swapping between 0 and 1, that's it. So now that is done, but over here too. So if widget dot, if it is equal to 1, it is done, circle done, else circle not done. And this is some changing the values. Okay, this is going to be some hard, but stay with me. So now we have to update the value of done in the database. So how do we do that? We go, let's see. First let's make the constructor var db equals db provider for db, and over here db dot update to do entry. Okay, it should be update to do entry. Let's make sure the names are correct at least. To do entry save. Update to do, okay, I know, don't show us. Update to do entry. and this entry, not entry, widget.entry. So it will update. We're going to give widget.entry and it will update accordingly. So that's it. Yes, let's reload. Let the magic begin. Oh no, data is null. String must be provided text. Okay, I guess that's because. Okay, let's see where the error is first of all. Oh my god. Okay, I thought it was done, but it's a big error. Okay, so the error is data not equal null over here. Yeah, over here. So why the error came is because one entry. The error came because the text we had to display, there wasn't any text to display. That's a problem. So we have to check if this text is null, which means there is no text. So if it is equal to null, just display a space. If it is null, just display a space, else display the actual text. That's it. And let's do the same thing over here too. So if there is nothing over here, let's display a space, or else let's display the actual title. Okay, I wish the errors are gone by now. Oh, there is a shadow. Oh. There's something wrong with the description. I think it didn't get our description. I guess, okay, let's find where the error is. So it should be over here in the new to do entry. So let's press Control click, and over here to entry.map. So to map, and let's check if the names are correct. Description. Wonder where the mistake is. It's really somewhere over here. Description. Oh man, look at this. It should be this dot description is equal to JSON dot description. We found the error. Hooray! So now let's reload this, and it's going to show. Hooray! We made it. But usually in to-do list, it displays in the reverse order. Okay, now when we press this, oh man, it's showing errors. No such table as client. Okay, we have done that mistake again. Oh man. Let's check where we have put client as the table name. Okay, this is embarrassing. Oh man, look at that. Okay, this is what happens. You don't. Luckily, we know the error where the error was, but usually you won't understand where the error is, and you will spend like one day finding out the error. It's hard. Okay, so now let it refresh. Reload is done. Okay, why the hell it's not refreshing? Come on, don't lag at this moment. I guess there's something wrong with it. Is there any error somewhere? No, but I guess I should restart. I guess everyone left. I don't know. Okay, so still here. Okay, I guess it might have worked for you, but there's some error over here. Not sure. I'll have to restart the app. Okay, it's almost over, right? So while doing that, okay, let me tell what happens. Okay, when you're pressing this, the it will show the change, but it will show right over here. But if you check the real app, the done ones are at the bottom right, and then undone ones are at the top. So how do we do that? Simple thing, okay? Nothing, it's pretty simple. We have to go to the local database, and while we are displaying stuff, we have to give another query, order by space descending or ascending. I don't remember. It should be in ascending, I guess. Okay, space ascending or space descending. But also, it's restarting. Okay, let's just save this also. Now, the done ones will go to the bottom. Okay, so the done ones will go to the. Okay, let me save this one more time. Come on. Okay, I guess we should do. Okay, let me check. Nothing. Not responding to what I'm saying. Okay, let me restart the app. What? Okay. Order by. Oh man, I didn't give the which we should order. We have to order the ID, right? I forgot the syntax. Let me check. SQLite. Okay. So Flutter SQLite order by descending. Okay, let's check what happens. So it's gonna be over here, and so your duty, order by your column plus descending. Okay, that's what you have to do. So ID plus space, don't forget the space over here, space descending. Just know that there's a space over here. Save it. So let's reload it. I don't want to. Okay, and now still. Okay, it's not by ID, it's by done, right? So if done is done equal to 1 gets shown first, which isn't what we want. We need done equal to 0 to show first. So ascending, done plus ascending. So save it. Yes, we did it. And another thing is, when you're putting a new to-do list, hello man, hi man, it's coming to the bottom. Usually to-do list will have, it will be inverted. The latest ones will come to the top usually. So let's do that too. So how do we do that? It's pretty simple. Go to the list view builder, and while building it, reverse equals true. And now there's going to be another problem. This is going to come up and this is going to come down. So what I'll do is go here and put descending, and that's it. I know I haven't covered editing and deleting and editing, but it's almost over. Oh man, this is not coming to the top. Why? Oh, I guess we have to do this. This is where I told we have to the rearranging thing. So we'll have to go to the to-do list style. And after we press, after this, we press this button. We'll have to do that thing again. That messy, this thing. We have to copy this and paste this. I told the explanation before, right? Because the list didn't get rebuild. So this is a separate stateful list, stateful widget, right? This build method got invoked again, and this thing got redrawn. This widget got redrawn, but the whole list didn't get redrawn. So for that we have to do this. Usually there's a much cleaner method, but it's going to be hard. Okay, for the time being, use the solution. But in the master branch of the repository, which I shared in the announcement channel, you can see the actual method what I do. It's because there's no time. Okay, so when you do this, yeah, you see that flickering over there. That's what I told. That's the problem. The messy thing. I don't think so. We need to do that. We need to show. Just need to show to-do list types. Okay, let's see if it works. No, not to-do list style. To-do list type. The one in the home page. Yeah, home page. Oh man, look at that. Okay, so we have to do this. Massive problems. You saw some kind of recurring, right? Okay, so I guess it's time to wind up. I'm pretty exhausted too. Yeah, there's that. Okay, looks ugly, but it works, right? Okay, the other thing we do is we use callback and stuff. It's advanced stuff. It's not that much advanced, some advanced. We use a call, like we define. Okay, I'll tell the main thing. We'll define a. So if the child has to, the to-do list child is a child of this widget, right? To-do list child. So the child has to invoke a function which is present in this class. So first we'll make a class. Okay, I'll show the code in the GitHub. For easy. So yeah, over here. And master, yeah. Oh yeah. So here, yeah, we use this thing as the main. Okay, so okay, that's cool. Okay, second thought, I think we should do that, but no, nothing. So we define a function inside to entry list called list updater, and what it does is set state this. So when you do set state, this stateful widget will get redrawn. So we have guaranteed that. So so we have to invoke this function. For that, okay, this is going to get really crazy. We are going inside to do this style. Along with the entry, we are going to pass the function also. This function also. We are going to pass this function also into the to-do list style. Okay, this is going to get really crazy. So in the to-do list style, we'll define a void callback. So that's called callback. You will just research about it. So this is a method actually. I'll also share an article about this. So this is a void callback. So we'll get the updater. Then we can, after we do the updating, we can just call the function. This function. So this function is present in the other file. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, this is a bit hard. But anyways, at least you created this much, right? That's a good thing. Yeah, and the edit and delete is also pending, but you can just refer this. It's easy, edit and delete. So edit and delete. What I do is when you press. This is mainly because of 1 hour I lost yesterday. Okay, when you press over here, it will show a dialog box. Yeah. When you press over here, it shows this dialog box. So this dialog box is pretty similar to the new to-do dialog box, except it has a delete button over here. So that's it. So when you check over here, there is a component named view dialog box. And what it does is first it will display. Yeah, we can display a custom text in a text field by just assigning text control dot text equal to this. Okay, by just changing the text control dot text. So we do that, and you can change the text, and at last we do the on press. We just update it, the new one, or we can delete it. Why if you press that other button, the delete button. That's it. It's there in the master. So there's day 1, day 2, and master. I'll make day 3 also after the session. Okay. So that's it. Yeah, we finished. I guess you learned something. Okay, that's enough. Okay, thanks. So I'm gonna go. Bye.